Hello, this is David Duke. Sometimes they just can't help themselves, and the true face of Zionism emerges for all the world to see. Here's a headline from the Jerusalem Post. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has announced that Israel will erect a monument honoring the Red Army. Israel is going to honor the Bolshevik Red Army that, starting from 1917 to the end of the Second World War, murdered, tortured, and mistreated more human beings than any other army in the history of the world. They ethnically cleansed and killed at least 7 million Germans and millions more across all of Eastern Europe. They raped at least 2 million German women, and millions more Eastern European women and girls. Israel will honor the same glorious Red Army that sent millions of Christians to the living hell of the gulags, the same Red Army that enslaved Eastern Europe for over half of a century. When I speak ill of the Red Army, I'm not speaking against the Russian people. I greatly admire them. The Russians were victims of the Red Army just as the rest of Europe was, perhaps even more so. In 2001, I met with a great Russian dissident, Nobel Prize winner Alexander Solzhenitsyn. It was for me the fulfillment of a lifelong dream. He told me frankly that the Bolsheviks were led by non-Russians who actually hated the Russian people. Of course, it's easy to know why Israel honors the Red Army. It was created by about the same percentage of Jews as Israel is governed today. Its founder was name changer Leon Trotsky. Sounds Russian, but his actual name was Lev Bronstein. He oversaw the murders of millions of Christian Russians. Jewish magazines actually boast of Lenin's Jewish ancestry. 5 of the top 6 Bolshevik leaders were the same. They were Lenin, Trotsky, Zinoviev, Kamenev, and Sverdlov. And every one of them, including Lenin, spoke Yiddish. Solzhenitsyn, in his books, The Gulag Archipelago, pictures the 6 top administrators of the greatest killing machine in all history. They are Aaron Soltz, Yakov Rappaport, Lazar Kogan, Matvei Berman, Gingrich Yagoda, and Naftali Frankel. Not one of them was an ethnic Russian. Everyone would qualify for Israeli citizenship. Do you recognize this face? This was perhaps one of the most evil people who ever lived. His name was Ilya Ehrenberg. His words urging genocide were printed in millions of pamphlets for the Red Army. Quote, "If your part of the front is quiet and there's no fighting, then kill a German in the meantime. If you've already killed a German, then kill another one. There is nothing more amusing to us than a heap of German corpses," unquote. And more, quote, "Kill, kill. In the German race there is nothing but evil. Not one among the living, not one among the yet unborn, but is evil. Use force and break the racial pride of these German women. Take them as your lawful booty. Kill. As you storm onward, kill, you gallant soldiers of the Red Army." Most European Christians sided with the Germans. They received the same treatment. Here's a quote from Britain's Daily Mail about the rapes of the Red Army. As well as the estimated 2 million rapes in Germany, there were between 70,000 and 100,000 in Vienna, and anywhere from 50,000 to 200,000 in Hungary, as well as thousands in Romania and Bulgaria, which had been pro-Nazi, but also in Poland, Czechoslovakia, and Yugoslavia, which had not been. Indeed, the Red Army even raped Russian women who had been liberated from concentration camps, emaciated and wearing their prison uniform. It quotes a young Russian officer telling what he saw happen to a refugee column of hundreds of German women and children. Quote, "Women, mothers, and their children lie to the right and left along the route, and in front of each of them stands a raucous armada of men with their trousers down. The women who are bleeding or losing consciousness, get shoved to one side, and our men shoot the ones who try to save their children." Unquote. The article goes on to show that rape was accompanied by torture, mutilation, and they frequently ended it by bludgeoning the victim to death. There was no war crime trial for Ilya Ehrenberg. In fact, Jewish organizations honored him, as did the mainstream American press, much like they praised the hate and torture film Inglourious Basterds. Just an update of Ehrenberg. In fact, from its earliest days, the Red Army, Bolshevik murderers were supported enthusiastically by the Jewish community all over the world and by international bankers like Jacob Schiff, head of the Goldman Sachs of his day. Supporting the Red Army is nothing new for Zionists. This genocidal maniac responsible for the rape and genocide of millions of innocents is also honored by the Holocaust Museum in Israel. The Canadian Jewish News reported that this communist leader had so much loyalty to the Jews and Israel that he secretly donated all his private papers, not to Russia, but to Israel. Quote, "The recent disclosure that Ehrenberg arranged to transfer his private archives to Jerusalem's Yad Vashem library and archive while still alive comes as a stunning revelation." Ehrenberg's spirit is still alive in movies like Inglourious Basterds, which promotes torture, sadism, and cold-blooded murder against Jewish enemies. It is also alive in the Academy that honors it and the media that praises this sick bloodfest. Abe Foxman, head of the ADL, said the film should be given an Academy Award. He said, quote, "Employing drama, comedy, and romance, the film is entertaining, yet thought-provoking. Hopefully, the millions who see it will understand the horrors of the Holocaust and echo my view of, quote, if only it were true," unquote. God knows it is true. It happened not just against soldiers, but against millions of innocent men, women, and children across Eastern Europe and Russia, and it happens right now to the Palestinians. They're just the latest victims of the same old evil. The Jewish-dominated media makes the Palestinians out to be the evil ones, the, quote, terrorists, the Zionists who terrorize them, force them out of their homes, bomb, burn, and maim them by the tens of thousands. They're portrayed by the media as the poor innocent victims of evil Palestinians. God help the Palestinians. But people of Europe and America, they're coming for you too. Recently, my review exposing Inglourious Basterds was flagged by Jewish extremists and censored. Jewish films that make torture, sadism, and murder cool, that's great, that's wonderful. But dare to criticize this evil, and you will be the one called the hater. Please help me get this message out. Everything I say is completely documented in my books, My Awakening and Jewish Supremacism. Read these books that are read and loved by millions the world over. You can go to my website, davidduke.com, search it, and check out every word I say. I dare you to question, research, and to think for yourself. Together we will defeat the true apostles of hate. Send this video link to all your friends and family and to every internet forum. Tell them that the enemies of free speech may break the link. Tell them to go to davidduke.com for working links for all my videos. I endure constant threats and attacks from these hypocrites of hate. But I won't quit. But I can't make it without your support. Thank you, and God bless you.